It's Monday, May 11th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, a new IBM study finds the Chief AI Officer role has surged to nearly every major company. Nvidia's 2026 equity bets cross $40 billion. And Cloudflare cuts more than 1,000 jobs as the company restructures around agentic AI. Let's get into it.
Our first story. A new IBM Institute for Business Value report, released last week and gaining wider attention this morning, finds that 76% of the more than 2,000 organizations surveyed now have a chief AI officer, up from just 26% in 2025. The study, conducted with Oxford Economics across 33 countries, says AI-first C-suite designs have scaled 10% more initiatives than traditional structures. And 64% of chief executives now say they are comfortable making major strategic decisions based on AI-generated input. McKinsey called the shift the largest organizational change since the industrial and digital revolutions, while IBM noted that 93% of leaders still cite culture, not technology, as the principal barrier.
From the C-suite to the chip aisle.
Nvidia has now committed more than $40 billion to AI-related equity investments in 2026, transforming the chipmaker into one of the most influential venture investors on the planet. According to reporting from CNBC and others over the weekend, the haul includes a roughly $30 billion stake in OpenAI, up to $3.2 billion in glassmaker Corning to expand U.S. optical fiber manufacturing, and up to $2.1 billion in data center operator IREN, which inked a separate 5-year, $3.4 billion managed GPU cloud agreement with Nvidia. Analysts say the pace has effectively turned Nvidia into the connective tissue of the global AI build-out, binding model labs, manufacturers, and infrastructure operators into a tightly aligned supply chain.
Texas takes another AI mega lease.
Hut 8 Mining is now Hut 8 AI, infrastructure in everything but name. The Miami-based company announced a 15-year lease worth a base $9.8 billion, with options that could push total value past $25 billion, at its Beacon Point campus in West Texas. The deal covers 352 megawatts of IT capacity, supports AI training and inference workloads for an unnamed investment-grade tenant, and is built around Nvidia's DSX reference architecture. Operations are slated to begin in 2027. Shares surged 35% on the news, the stock's biggest single-day jump since 2021. Hut 8's contracted AI capacity now stands at 597 megawatts.
And from real estate to restructuring.
Cloudflare, the internet infrastructure company, told staff last week that it will eliminate around 1,100 jobs, roughly 20% of its workforce, in the first mass layoff of its 16-year history. The kicker, Cloudflare reported a record quarter at the same time, with revenue up 34% year-on-year to $639.8 million. Chief Executive Matthew Prince told employees the decision reflects what he called Cloudflare's redesign for the agentic AI era, noting internal AI use has jumped more than 600% in 3 months, and that highly productive AI-powered employees simply require fewer support staff. Shares fell roughly 24% after earnings.
Over to OpenAI's cyber playbook.
OpenAI has opened up its most permissive cybersecurity model to date. The company announced last week that GPT 5.5 Cyber is now rolling out in limited preview to vetted defenders responsible for protecting critical infrastructure. The model is tuned for specialized authorized workflows, including bug hunting, malware analysis, and reverse engineering of attacks, while still blocking credential theft and offensive malware development. It joins the broader GPT 5.5 rollout that began 2 weeks earlier as the new flagship instant model. The UK AI Safety Institute and the US Center for AI Standards and Innovation, formerly NIST's AI Safety Institute, completed pre-release evaluations. Recent testing showed GPT 5.5 performs nearly on par with Anthropic's Mythos preview at finding software bugs.
Now to Washington.
The Trump administration is moving toward formal AI model vetting. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett said this week the White House is studying an executive order that would require new AI labs to clear a safety review before releasing a frontier model, comparing the approach to how the FDA evaluates new drugs. The pivot follows Anthropic's disclosure of its powerful Mythos model, which was shown to find and exploit decades-old vulnerabilities in widely deployed software. Hassett told reporters the executive order could be signed within 2 weeks, although administration officials are still debating how strict the vetting process should be. The shift marks a notable break from the hands-off posture set by the December 2025 AI executive order.
China's open weight contender.
Moonshot AI, the Beijing-based developer of the Kimi family of open-weight large language models, has raised about $2 billion at a $20 billion valuation. The round was led by Longzi Investments, the venture arm of Chinese delivery giant Meituan, with participation from Tsinghua Capital, China Mobile, and CPE Yuanfeng. Moonshot was valued at $4.3 billion at the end of 2025 and $10 billion in early 2026, making this one of the steepest AI funding trajectories on record. The company's annualized recurring revenue topped $200 million in April, driven by paid Kimi subscriptions and rapidly growing API usage. Founder Yang Jilin, a former Meta and Google Brain researcher, says open weights remains central to Moonshot's strategy.
Now to Wall Street's AI push.
Anthropic is making a major push into financial services. At an invite-only briefing in New York last week, the company unveiled roughly 10 pre-built Claude agents for the banking and insurance industries, covering pitch books, credit memos, earnings analysis, KYC, underwriting, month-end close, audits, and claims. It also introduced Claude Opus 4.7, which Anthropic calls its most capable model for financial work. Launch partners include Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, and FIS, alongside a data partnership with Moody's and a Microsoft 365 integration. CEO Dario Amodei used the event to warn that software roles will be disrupted, while emphasizing that the agents are designed to operate inside banks' existing workflows.
Korea's trillion-dollar moment.
Samsung Electronics has crossed a $1 trillion valuation, becoming only the second Asian company in history to reach that mark after Taiwan Semiconductor. Shares in Seoul jumped more than 14% in a single session last week on record first-quarter earnings, ongoing shortages of Samsung's AI memory chips, and reports that Apple is in talks to source iPhone chips manufactured in the United States from Samsung's Texas facilities. High-bandwidth memory, used in nearly every advanced AI accelerator on the market, drove the surge. Samsung's high-bandwidth memory 3E lineup is now fully booked for 2026, and the company has begun sampling HBM4 parts to Nvidia and AMD for next-generation AI server platforms launching late this year and into 2027.
Edge networks join the AI boom.
Akamai Technologies announced a $1.8 billion 7-year deal to provide cloud infrastructure services to a leading frontier model provider. The company didn't name the customer, but said the agreement is structured around distributed inference at the edge, leveraging Akamai's roughly 4,000 points of presence worldwide. Akamai shares jumped about 20% on the announcement, which came alongside a beat-and-raise first-quarter earnings report. Chief Executive Tom Layton told investors the company sees inference, not training, as the next phase of AI infrastructure spending, and said Akamai expects to roll out additional model provider deals in the coming quarters. The deal positions the longtime content delivery network as an unexpected challenger to hyperscaler cloud providers.
An executive move in research.
Academic publisher John Wiley & Sons named Jessica Kowalski as Executive Vice President and General Manager of its research business, effective today. Kowalski joins Wiley from Microsoft, where she ran a global services group focused on AI, data, and cloud transformation for financial services and media customers. She previously spent 11 years at RELX in senior roles at Elsevier and LexisNexis, helping shift those businesses from content publishing to information analytics. Wiley said the appointment accelerates the next phase of its AI and data strategy, including expanded licensing of its scientific corpus to AI labs and the rollout of new research workflow tools. Kowalski succeeds Jay Flynn, who is leaving the company after shaping Wiley's research division for more than a decade.
And finally, AI's nuclear option.
Nano Nuclear Energy and Supermicrocomputer have signed a strategic memorandum of understanding to power next-generation AI data centers with advanced nuclear microreactors. The agreement, announced earlier this week, will see the two companies explore integrating Nano Nuclear's modular reactor systems directly with Supermicro's AI server and rack platforms, providing on-site, grid-independent clean power for high-density compute clusters. Shares in Nano Nuclear jumped more than 14% on the news. The deal is non-binding, but reflects a broader scramble across the AI industry to lock down dedicated low-carbon power as global spending on AI data centers heads toward $7 trillion by 2030, according to recent industry forecasts.
That's your briefing for Monday, May 11th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.